wah, wah. There I am. So that's fixed. Is there sound? I think I can hear sound. Hold on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can hear sound. I'll crank it if I can't. It's fine. So English. Have I played the Stanley parabola before? That is a negative. That is a negative. Yeah, you know we're jacking the brightness all the way up because that's how I roll. It's like every gamer does that. Enter the current time. 11:15. Not PM. AM. Accessibility settings can be accessed from the main menu. Is the capture device even making sound? Yeah, it is. We'll turn it up. Okay, that's a little better. Nothing I really need to see here that I need to change. No, I have no save data, so I don't need to do that. Crouch, pause, interact, look, move. That's it. And they have a simplified control option. That's something. All right, let's do it. Let's get this party started.
This is the story of a man
I'm
named
not going to
Stanley.
skip this because I imagine it's important.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
Yeah.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year.
Sounds
But
like
although
fun.
others might have considered it soul-winning, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Really?
And then
Okay.
one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened. This complete isolation.
It's illegal to
Something
work
was
alone,
very
homie.
clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Not just yet, he didn't. I know how video games work. Is there an interact button? No. Nothing in the file cabinet. Nope, can't interact with that. Alright, I guess I'll get out of here.
All of his
They have to,
co-workers
like...
were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Is there, like, something that highlights
No matter
important
how hard
items?
Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-worker.
I think I'm starting to piss off the narrator. Can't look in their desks or nothing? Okay. So there's like nothing in here, I take it. Is this the meeting room? Can't even open the door. You can get in there, though. Nope, not from there. There is a way to get in there if there's an open door.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
That's funny. Nor did it advance the story in any way. Okay. What's that say? Sales this quarter, projections. Wow, that does not look good. Those graphs are all pointed quite downwards.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I mean, you got to do it at
This
least
was not
once.
the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire.
Perhaps, buddy. We're going to keep going.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate,
What if I keep
beautifully
going?
constructed room.
Wait, the door's
Stanley
closed.
simply stood here, drinking it all in.
The door's closed. I can't go back. So I got to keep going. Okay.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No, he didn't. I do my own thing.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
Oh no, the door shuts behind you every time. Do not lie. If you are lying right now, stop. I'm not lying. I just refuse to follow directions.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Maybe.
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the
Where am I
fact
going?
is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Okay.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Okay. Let's go through the door. All right, I'll play you a little game.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
How do you pick up the phone? I just started hitting buttons. White screen. Okay.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm
Am I
just
in the
pulling the
bathroom?
bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Whoa.
Gotcha. Oh,
Okay.
come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
Okay.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button
I
that he
get that.
pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his
Fantastic adventures.
desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. Thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Okay.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
He told me not to. He told me not to. Am I just supposed to sit here? Yeah, I'm hitting the button, buddy.
Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
That's a good question, man.
I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Is that it? The end is never the end is never the end is... Okay, so the end is never the end. Interesting. That's interesting. Okay, so I'm back at the beginning.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I'll listen this time. We'll just go. Okay, so I'll take the left door.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yep. No problem, buddy. I wonder if you keep going the other way if it... Oh, okay, so this is the
Yet
meeting
there was
room.
not a
Yep.
single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Make sure your slide has a slick blue graphic in the header and throw some bevel on all the text. This will ensure a calm and productive work environment. Everyone is unique. You most of all. Okay, that's funny. What else we got? Number of slides on this slide. Slides chart. Where's the slide projector? Rate at which charge on the same slide depict the same information. Rate of increase in graphs per slide. Please, no more charts. Please, I'm begging. Oh, your boss appreciation minute on your boss. Circle the top 20 things you love most about your boss. Fill it out in triplicate and return. Wow. You ever find yourself in a conflict with another diligent employee like yourself, but more inclined? Wow. Parentheses within parentheses. How long do these go? Do these just keep going? I think they're done. Nope. Tips for not getting fired. Talk less. Do amazing work. Don't get fired. That's funny. All right, let's keep going. Is this the way to go? I'll play your little games.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ooh, that was close. Wow, it's nice in here. The door didn't I can go back. Too late for that. This is nice.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Okay, this is getting interesting. It's down here. I don't know if I should have done that or not. I'm not sure if I should have done that or not.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Mind Control Facility. Huh, that's tempting too. They're both pretty tempting. Mind control room. Screw it.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
This shit ain't nothing to me, man. Okay.
Now the monitors jumped to life. Their true
Whoa!
nature revealed.
Fired.
Each bore the number of
Saw
an
that
employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant
I
nothing.
don't remember what my employee number was. 427, I think. Where the hell am I supposed to go now? This way?
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Just went. No, we didn't go by it. That's where I'm going, apparently. So I went through the mind control facilita. There's like alternate paths everywhere, which is kind of neat. I'm not sure what's happening now. I think I might have gotten to another reset point. Hello? Is my PS4 frozen or some shit? I don't think it is. Whoa. I see a red dot. Where the hell do I go?
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
What in the hell is this, dude? What is happening right now? Mind controls idle, awaiting input. What is this, the power facility? Yeah, a facility power. So this is probably like, oh, okay. System power.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Do I turn it off? Yeah. Told me to turn it off. So I said I'm going to listen to him this time. Kinda. You can't just go straight up friggin' whatever, I do what I want. You can't just do that because
Blackness, and a
won't take
rising
that
chill
long.
of uncertainty.
But this is getting kind
Was
of
it over?
interesting.
Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had
Why
not
is
been
it
to
going
understand,
downstairs?
but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his.
Did
And
I
that
get the
was
good
all
ending?
he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
It's not open.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Okay. Is that another ending? It says the end is never the end, so it's probably going to have me go again. I did beat it. There's my trophy. Beat the game. I beat the game in 32 minutes. That's what's up. All right, we'll
All
figure
of his
this out.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had
Oh, we're
simply missed
going.
a memo.
I remember.
When Stanley came to a set of two open
Yep,
doors,
door on
he
the
entered
left.
the door on his left.
Okay, meeting room. Yep.
Yet there was not a single person here either.
Tips for not getting fired.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to
room
go
closet.
up to his boss's office.
No,
Hoping
now
he'd
we're
come
going
into a
downstairs.
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No, we didn't. We went downstairs, Holmes.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk?
Exactly.
All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went?
Yes.
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they
Some of
simply
them.
repeating?
It's like
No,
Groundhog
Stanley
Day
said to
in here.
himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And
It's
at
like
last,
Groundhog
he
Day.
came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream.
He's having a really
What
lucid
a
dream.
relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't
Wait.
actually gone. He
What
wasn't
the-
going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all.
I'm-
He thought to himself,
I'm
I
back in the
suppose I'll
parking
wake up
garage.
soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying.
What the
and
hell?
began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was
Where?
so
Oh.
much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner.
That's
Why is
crazy.
there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him
It was
float and make
all
the
a
magical
dream.
stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This
Exactly.
voice was a part of himself too.
This
Surely,
is like-
if he could just... He would prove it.
This is some
He
deep
would
water.
prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one.
Is he gonna wake up in his house?
Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
All right. Wrong. You're still in the loop, buddy.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
That was something. Okay.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed,
What?
gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange
that me?
man. He was obviously crazy.
Am I the
This
corpse
much
on the
she
street?
knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
So that must have been an alternate ending. Okay. So then I'm gonna come back again. It's gonna be like Groundhog Day all over again. Yeah. Okay.
All of his co-workers were
Oh
gone.
God.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I'm gonna try to get back to.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yeah. If I can
Yet
get
there
back
was
to
not
that
a
mind
single
control
person here
facility
either. Feeling
and
a
like
wave
turn
of
the power
disbelief,
on instead of
Stanley
off, I
decided
bet
to
you
go
that's
up to his
interesting, too.
boss's office. Hoping coming to a staircase,
downstairs
Stanley
is
walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Craziness. We did that already. Do I go into the executive bathroom? Yeah. Money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast, money crisp. Oh, okay. All right, we're back in the boss's office.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
I
What
don't
could it
remember.
mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
All right, so I'm going the sort of right way. Yeah, and I think the only way through here was the elevator, right? It gets really dark over here. So I think that's a wall. Yeah, the literal only way you can go is the elevator. Okay. Okay. So we're on the right path. I want to turn the power on in that mind control facility and see what happens.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
I might take the escape next time.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Yes, he does.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number
I
of
was
an employee in the
427,
building, Stanley's
by the way.
co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
427, that's me right there. Yep. It's an empty office. It's my empty office.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible?
Unthinkable.
Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy,
So we're gonna turn
or
it on
sad,
this time.
or
What
content.
is this?
Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
Is there
For
another one
he
of those
would
somewhere?
dismantle the controls once and for all.
Yeah, over there. I see it. I see it. There's a button over there. I want to push it. I think there's stairs here. Oh, I can't. Dang it. Alright. That's fine. That's fine. Let's go to the power. and turn this thing on instead of off. And see what that does.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you?
Hell
After they kept you
yeah, I
enslaved
did.
all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that
Yep.
what you wanted? Control?
Yes.
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent,
Okay.
Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now.
Whoa.
Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what
if I
precious
run?
moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you.
What if I run?
About me.
I'm running.
where
I'm
we're
out of
going,
here.
What all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional
Wait a minute,
seconds.
is he just gonna keep
Time
giving me
doesn't grow
time?
on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley?
He's gonna keep
Is
talking
it
to
that
me.
you
I
have
want to
no
hear what he has
idea
to
where
say.
you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is?
This is awesome.
Stanley.
I'm not gonna lie,
You're
I kind
in
of
for
like
quite
this.
a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine.
This is
But I'm going to
crazy.
destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley.
Yeah, 30
That's
seconds.
30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No
What if I
ending,
turn it off?
Just you being blown to pieces.
What if I turn it off with like
Will
5
you cling
seconds
desperately
left?
to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in
No.
until the moment I say happily ever after.
I couldn't turn it off. So I just let the nukes hit the place. That can't be right. That can't be right. It's gonna put me back in the office though. It's gonna put me back in the office. Yeah. Yeah. That's hilarious. Which one am I again? 427. That's what I thought. Wait. Wait, wait, wait.
Hello. This is a recorded message scheduled either by you or a person in your place of work. The purpose of this message is to warn you about the dangers of recorded messages. If at any time you believe you are listening to a recorded message, please terminate it immediately and cease all flow of information from the recorded message into your perceptual sphere.
What the
Thank you,
fuck?
and have a pleasant day.
Okay, hold on. This is different because the narrator didn't say anything when I came out here. What about here? Nothing? Nothing. Does door 420 open? Of course it doesn't. Lame.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
Okay.
he entered the door
So
on his
he's
left.
back. Okay. Yeah, we'll do the left again.
Yet there was not a single person
Yeah,
here
okay.
either.
Got
Feeling
this.
a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
to the
Coming to a
boss's
staircase,
office.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Boss's office.
The moment he entered
4258.
his manager's office, Stanley froze in his
No.
tracks. Not a living soul anywhere.
5248.
Could he really be all
Is that what it
alone?
is?
This was too much
I don't
for
remember
Stanley
what
to
it
take.
is.
Too much for any man to take. He fell to his knees, bursting into half
I
moans,
don't remember what it
half
is.
sobs, the guttural retching of life from a man denied any hope, any reason to keep going. Here on the floor,
Wait.
he lay prone,
This is
paralyzed
different.
by fear for nearly a full hour. But when at last he began to move about and survey the situation, he found a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could it mean?
Yeah.
Was it a sign of hope for Stanley's future?
Give me the
Alas,
code
it was
already.
not. For although this keypad guarded the terrible secret of Stanley's past, it had been assigned a 4-digit code so devious and so random
It's 5248,
that
I
no
think.
man could ever hope
Or
to guess it.
5428.
2845. Statistically, nearly impossible to guess blindly
4,
ever.
5.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random
What if
buttons
you get
on
it
the
wrong?
keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Yep, back to the bottom. See, I think I got this. There's a couple other things I want to do. That was kind of neat, though. The one where I turned the power on was kind of neat.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read
No, he
Mind
didn't.
Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Oh, we're stuck here. And this hall just goes
The door
forever.
behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
You know what? No, I do what I want. I do what I want, narrator. You don't own me. Even though you've killed me every time I've gone the wrong way.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward.
sure was.
And willingly confront his death.
I've already died twice, bro. I ain't scared. Did I just fall through the elevator shaft? Wait a minute, because that's gnarly. What in the world?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story.
Hold on a
trapped
minute.
forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was
Hold
of no great loss, like
up.
plucking the eyeballs from a blind man.
Wait a minute.
And so he resigned
Get me the
and
F
willingly
out of
accepted
here.
this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell,
Oh,
Stanley.
that's gonna suck.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
That's terrible. Wait. What? The Stanley parabola.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What
the hell?
exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now?
What
Do you see
is
that
happening?
Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
This blueprint shows the office from the beginning of the game. That's the first game that's built. Sections have been added and altered throughout development. So that's the office. Yeah, you go through those doors. Goes through that door, and then you have the left and right. Filing cabinets. This is like, it's like a museum exhibit corridor. The pacing of this opening section was important to get right. The corridor has been moved and altered to make sure the player reaches 2 doors in a good time. Okay. The 2 doors. The set of 2 open doors is the very first concrete piece of the Stanley Parabole design. Once this room was created, the rest of the game emerged as an extension of it. Yeah. Office computer sounds playing solitaire. Got credits. That's kind of cool. The office. Can't open the doors. Button sounds. A section of the sounds used throughout the game when buttons are pressed. That's got to mean something. Now I can either go that way or that way. What's that way? Boss's office. Scenes from the development of the boss's office. Is all this a choice too?
See how it's impossible for the player to do anything in this room. Perfect example of poor level design. Textbook mistake. It's the kind of thing you pick up on intuitively if you had even the most fundamental understanding of good. You'll probably spend the next hour trying to solve it. Here, I'm just going to make this easy on you. The green door.
What? Green door? What green door? Isn't this the way I came?
Then he pushed the number 4. Stanley pushed the big red button.
What big red button, dude? There's no big red button. Oh, I did the freedom ending. What was that? So this tells you like all the little. The game is now paused. This is what you're supposed to do. I'm so confused. Fix the early version of the ending known as Zending. I didn't get that one. Okay. Weird. What is this? That says exit.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Turn off your PlayStation. There's no other way to beat this
What
game.
the?
As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
Huh. This is messed up. That's crazy. What time is it? I think that's about it for me, too. It's a work day, so. Yeah, so we're back in the room. That's. I wonder if it's different.
All of his co-workers were gone.
No,
What could it
it's
mean?
got the narrator
Stanley decided
again.
to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
But I think that's it for me. I'm going to head out for now. I will be back very soon.